back to Haimo Law. I'm glad to see you return for a crash course on wills. What's a will? Here's the big picture. A last will and testament, or a will, is a legal document that expresses your postmortem wishes. It appoints a personal representative or executor to administer your estate. It designates a guardian of the person and property of your minor children. It usually covers burial instructions, funeral expenses, and estate tax apportionment. However, it's most commonly understood to govern the transfer of a deceased person's property to his or her designated beneficiaries. The term property includes everything you could possibly own, such as cash, stocks, bonds, houses, vehicles, jewelry, artwork, business interests, and even future interests. Think Michael Jackson. His estate will be open for a very long time. In other words, property is everything you own, both now and in the future. Why is a will important? Regardless of how much money or assets you have an estate, so you should have a will. Here's why. First and foremost, mostly everyone can have one. In Florida, you only need to be 18 years old or an emancipated minor and have what's called mental capacity. Second, you have the freedom to choose your beneficiaries. If you don't have a will, your home state will, among other things, choose your beneficiaries for you. This can be very problematic if you have children or are divorced, and especially if you have children from other marriages. Third, there are different types of wills. A properly drafted will can preserve and protect your beneficiaries' interest in their inheritance, both from themselves, if financially irresponsible, and from their present and future creditors. If your family is going to inherit assets from you, you might as well protect them. Otherwise, you're going to make outright gifts, which are dangerous. Lastly, the combination of a will and other planning tools like a trust will better serve your family's long-term goals. So are wills enough? I'm going to assume that your family's long-term goals are to 1. Preserve and protect your family's assets for future generations, and 2. Minimize needless emotional drain and administrative hassle in the transition from one generation to the next. With that in mind, relying on a will alone is not enough. There are just too many things that can go wrong. And even if things go right, there's better alternatives for you and your family. So what can go wrong? Well, the failure to take advantage of lifetime gifts and other estate planning tools can result in needless taxes. It can even result in the loss of the very assets that you plan to give to your family. Additionally, having a will doesn't avoid the world of probate. Watch the video on probate to learn more why that's important. Contrary to what you may think, the determination of whether a will is valid occurs in probate after death rather than at the time it's executed. You could be walking around for years with a false sense of peace of mind. Remember, small mistakes and omissions can have disastrous consequences to you and your family. Failure to comply with the necessary formalities renders a will invalid, and an invalid will is no will at all. Again, that brings us back to your home state choosing your beneficiaries for you, which can have devastating and priceless effects. Lastly, probate provides both an invitation and a convenient venue for a will contest. Sadly, you can expect that invitation to be accepted if there are questionable circumstances surrounding the will execution, or if a beneficiary is disappointed with his or her inheritance. In either case, it's wasteful and it's avoidable. All this is especially true when it comes to do-it-yourself products. I have a degree in computer information science, and I'm also in the software business, so I understand how these systems work. Unfortunately, algorithms cannot represent your best interests. In fact, they don't. That's why you have to sign a disclaimer that you haven't received legal advice. Do-it-yourself products are a terrible idea for clients because you and your family's circumstances do not fit squarely into an algorithm. Your family is special, and you want to ensure that your documents are validly executed, accurately reflect your wishes and desires, are tailored to meet your particular needs and goals. Do-it-yourself products at best should be characterized as only temporary solution. So then what? Having a will is like having enough gas, but not having the right car. You might get to where you're going, but it may not be the quickest or most pleasant journey. Watch our video on trust to find out how to avoid these pitfalls and more. This concludes our brief overview of wills. I hope you better understand how we can help you. Thank you for stopping by, and stay tuned for more.